Hello, I hope that you are well and having an amazing beginning to the summer. In today's video, we are going to be talking about something very powerful, but something that you may like to avoid. Something that may cause you to distract yourself. Something that may cause you to sit scrolling on your phone, something that may cause you to reach for the glass of wine after work, something that may cause you to overspend maybe money you don't even have, something that may cause you from going to relationship to relationship. And that is emotions. This has been inspired by clients that I've worked with this week and themes that come up, but also from my own personal experience this week as well. I knew that this would be the topic when I decided, when I did my planning. We're going to sit with emotion this week and understand what it means to sit with emotion and why we need to do it. And then I was given an opportunity where I have to do the same. So this will be an emotional video, and I hope that you take something from this that's going to help bring you freedom in your own life. So let's begin. Sitting with your emotions is extremely powerful. It is one of the most powerful things that you can do on your journey of personal growth, spiritual growth, raising your vibration, moving into a higher level of consciousness, whatever you want to call it. The law of attraction world, whilst it's all valid, has often made people feel like they need to avoid negative emotions. And humans want to avoid pain. We want to avoid pain and suffering. So we do things to distract ourselves, because we would rather stay in a comfortable state of numbness rather than fully feel the energy that's in our body. So when we experience kind of painful emotions, they're messengers. They're messengers for something that you can look at in your life. A messenger for where you can invite in a little bit more freedom and emotions are energy, so they need to flow. Energy needs to flow. Energy that gets stuck becomes stagnant. It can become toxic. It can, in the body, it manifests as physical illness. It can manifest as depression. It can manifest as panic, anxiety, anger, but it can also manifest as a physical illness. And energy is like water. It needs to flow. So if we look at a river and the water flowing in a river, and say there's a pool of water that gets stuck, you see all the stuff that gets stuck on top of it. When water can't flow, it becomes stagnant. It becomes toxic. You're not going to drink stagnant water. You're not going to enjoy it. It's not full of life and the goodness that you need. So it's the same for our body, especially considering our body is mostly water, right? So it's the same for our body. We need our energy to flow. So we need our emotions to flow through us, but we are so afraid of feeling them because we're afraid we're going to be stuck there. When we're not used to maybe feeling these emotions because we have been numb our entire life, and something happens to make you look at an emotion that has probably been controlling your life and the decisions that you make because you've repressed it, so you're doing everything in your power to try and avoid feeling that emotion. It can make you feel broken. It can make you feel lost. It can make you feel stuck, frustrated, overwhelmed because you're resisting. So your mind, so much will go on. It'll become chaotic in your mind. You won't have any clarity. And how are you supposed to consciously create a life that you bloody love waking up to if you're constantly running away from your emotions? So my invitation for you is to fully go into your emotions with the guarantee that you're not going to get stuck there. What gets you stuck in an emotion, in that kind of wallowing, the wallowing that we see on teenage rom-coms where they've broken up and she's sat stuffing her face with popcorn and all of that wallowing, is caused by the stories in the mind. So the first thing to do when you're faced with a difficult emotion is to remind yourself this: I am not the emotion. I am not the emotion. I am not the thoughts. I am the pure awareness behind all of that. I am the witness. So you take yourself out of it and you can become the observer. This brings a lot of peace in your day. For somebody going through shadow work, going through a dark night of the soul, going through a challenge physically, spiritually, meditation and practicing being the witness is going to really benefit you when it comes to sitting with emotion. So bringing yourself out of it and being the observer is going to bring peace to your internal reality, but it's also going to help you see it more clearly, because it becomes worse and we resist it more when we listen to the stories that our mind has attached to this emotion. So just try and be the observer, understanding you are not that emotion. And what I would like to tell you is that when you can fully sit with this emotion and be with it for all of it, be with it for everything that it is, there is freedom on the other side, because energy needs to flow, and once it has flowed through, there is space. Once it has transmuted from whatever it is that's controlling you, and there is space then for freedom and creating something new. There's space for a new emotion to come in. But you can't, while ever you're avoiding feeling these, you're never going to fully experience these. And on that as well, we have these, like, in order to really fully love and fully understand that you are love and be love and love yourself and love others, you have to be able to experience grief. And grief is a blessing because it means that you loved. So it means that you have been in touch with that truth of who we are when we can feel grief, and when we can accept that there is no joy without sadness. There is no peace there's no creativity without chaos. There is no certainty without uncertainty. We're living in a universe of polarity. We need night and day. We need joy and sadness. So can you appreciate that every emotion has a light side to it, even if it is causing you pain? And the fact that we try and avoid it because we don't want to feel pain, that's what causes suffering. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Suffering comes when you're trying to avoid feeling something. But when you can go into it and feel it and release it, then you get the freedom. But going into an emotion just to release it, just to say, right, I'm going to sit with it so it moves through my body, that's not going to work, because you're trying to bypass it. So you have to allow yourself to fully sink into it and be with it, and allow it needs to know that it's welcome in your body. It's welcome to be there. And it's welcome, whatever it is welcome, because it's trying to show you something. And it might be trying to give you a message about if it's anger, maybe where your boundaries have been crossed. And maybe there's action that you need to take, but outside of the anger. So you can't really, while there's an emotional charge in your body, not the best time to make a decision, because it's going to come from the emotional charge. And that again is another way that this emotion might control you. So it's controlling your actions. It's like shouting at somebody when you're angry at them, snapping at somebody because you feel anger. That's the charge talking. That's not the true you talking, and the true you might say something a bit different. I think really what I want to give you with this is to let you know that your emotions are safe. To let you know that they are safe to go into, because you will come out of them, and that is the most powerful way for you to create is to create the life that you love, is to be able to be with everything at the moment. So like I said, I met with a couple of clients at the beginning of the week, and with both of them there was huge emotional releases, and those emotional releases brought about a new fresh energy and clear insight and a new way, a new perspective, because both clients are on this journey, like on the threshold of a new beginning, and have a desire for a new beginning, but they have to face the old emotion of what's been holding them back because it's been repressed, stuck in the body, because they've been afraid to face what it is deep down that's preventing them from moving forward. So with both of these clients, and it was very strange because it was like a parallel thing, they both had, we went into active imagination, we sat with the emotion, we spoke to the emotion, and we were able to understand what was holding them back, and we went into it and it was released. And then there was a new perspective and an insight and a wow. And so now I can see that from their energy, they are moving, they are growing, and they're making decisions outside of that emotion, outside of the avoidance of that emotion, for understanding that, oh, I went into that emotion and it wasn't that scary. And while that emotion might not fully disappear in one sitting, it will loosen up and it will free, and it will know that you're not trying to fight it anymore. So it will be softer. So this happened at the beginning of the week, and then my dear little Russell, who you will have seen on videos if you've been following me for a little while, has gone off on an adventure. And I haven't seen him for a few days, and I don't know if he's going to come back. So with that, there is a huge emotion. Obviously there's grief, there's sadness, there's anger, and there's an ache and heaviness that I cannot shake. But I know that I don't need to shake it because I have to experience this. But this feeling of loss, being extremely open and vulnerable here, this feeling of loss is something that I personally have avoided for my entire life. So you don't get too attached to things in case you lose them. So that has been something that potentially has driven a lot of my decisions throughout my life because of this attachment thing. So there has, and I can't fully speak about it now because I am still in it, which is interesting because I did say I wasn't really going to go into it. This isn't about me, this is about the experience that I'm having and how it correlates to experiences that you're probably having as well if you're watching this video. But I know that right now all I can do is be in this emotion, and I'm not going to get stuck there. And that I know because if I ignore the grief right now, it's going to stay in my body and it's going to come up at a different time. If I can be fully in it and love it, what I'm actually experiencing is love. I'm actually experiencing love because of how much I love Russell, how much I love our bond, how much I love that he's probably having the adventure of his lifetime in these beautiful fields that surround us. And I understand that I had a beautiful connection with an animal that I like, and I'm very grateful for that because he has been a rock to me throughout the last 5 years. We did COVID and cancer together, and we've had many new beginnings together. So I'm very grateful for everything that we had. So it's sitting in the polarity of the grief and the sadness that is able to actually be love, and that is extremely powerful. So going back to you sitting with the emotion, being the observer is the first step to this. The second step. The first step is your awareness that there is an emotion or a sensation in your body that might feel uncomfortable. Second is becoming the observer, taking yourself out, the true self, the awareness out of the emotion, watching the emotion. This is where it's very helpful to work with somebody as like a coach or maybe a therapist, somebody who can help you see things for the truth of what they are, to step out of it and fully feel it. So in my work, we use active imagination, we use meditation. A Vipassana meditation is very helpful in this. We use active imagination, meditation to talk, to be with the emotion, to visualize, and then the energy is able to release. So be the observer, and then as you're moving throughout your day, noticing where it is in your body, sitting with it, being with it, with non-judgment. Not judging good or bad, just being with it, because even in the grief there is love. So there is both there, and it is not good or bad, and in that there is so much freedom. There may be a resistance, you may want to fight it, you may try to distract yourself. Yesterday I just sat and was not very productive because I was sat with the emotion, and then I would distract myself by uploading loads of clothes onto a second-hand app to sell them, and just kind of so I could see where I was distracting myself and then coming back to it. So and if you're distracting yourself, and do it, but be aware that you're doing it. So try and be present throughout the whole process, and then and loving yourself and being compassionate and accepting where you are. You have to accept. If you're resisting it, it's going to go louder and louder and louder. And eventually, the emotion will begin to release. And with that emotion releasing, you will feel new energy. You will feel empowerment. You will feel like a flame in you. You will feel brighter, lighter. Anybody who has it's like that feeling of going to the gym. You don't want to go to the gym, you go to the gym and then you feel better. That's sort of like sitting with an emotion. You're resisting the emotion, you sit with the emotion, you feel better. You cry, you feel better. It's a process. But there will be a lightness after it. With that lightness comes inspiration, new potential, new beginnings, a new way of living when you can fully be with them. While ever you're resisting your emotions, they control your life. While ever you're repressing them, they control your life, because you will make decisions to avoid feeling that emotion. And then it will be like a volcano, it will erupt, and it will come out in a way that's not helpful for you or for the people around you. So please, if you are experiencing any of what we call these negative emotions, please fully feel them. You're allowed to feel them, because going back to the law of attraction thing and and not thinking negative thoughts, that's not how it works. Actually being authentic and being able to be authentic with your whole self, that is you consciously creating your life, rather than trying to be positive and avoid things, bypass things, distract yourself just to stay happy all the time. It doesn't work. You'll find it's very, very exhausting. Being very, very exhausted from trying to be high vibe all the time is going to bring you down. So it has the opposite effect. So fully being with everything that in your human experience, because consciousness does not know good or bad. Everything just is. Feeling everything fully, expressing yourself fully, being with the polarity of joy and sadness is the most powerful place you can be, and it is you living your life as your fullest expression. So please take this as some encouragement to sit with your emotions. And if you do need support, I have lots of meditations that you can use. One for stress and frustration, which is really helpful. I'll link here. And the other meditation that I would really recommend to be the observer is the pure awareness meditation, to help you understand the truth of who you are. And I'll link that here. I hope that this has helped you. Sorry if it's been a bit rambly. I wanted to bring you an open and vulnerable episode so that you can see that it's not the end of the world to sit with your emotion, and you know, even from my clients' perspectives, that we both went into active imagination. They spoke to the emotion that has been controlling their decisions for most of their life. They saw the power in it, and they're able to make decisions from a space of freedom. And already they are experiencing a shift in their external reality. This is so powerful. And Joseph Campbell says that the cave you fear to enter holds the gold you seek. Humans fear their emotions. The gold is in your emotion. I hope that this has helped you. Give this video a little like if it has and if you've enjoyed it, and I will see you next week.